Everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Zombicide unboxing. This is for Zombicide Dark Side. This is part of the Invaders series, like the sci-fi space team, as you can kind of see on there. We're fighting alien zombies called Xenos. This is a standalone set, so if you have Invader, or if you have the option, you could pick up this or Invader, and you can play it out of the box by itself. That being said, however, I'm not going to re-go through all the basic rules of the game here. I will put a link to the Invader set on in the description. So if you want to check out like how the basic idea of Zombicide in this game is played, you can definitely go check out that video, part 1, to see all that stuff. What I'm going to do, though, however, is we're going to go through the rulebook. And we're going to, in the first part video, we're going to go through the rulebook, look out at any of the new stuff that was added or is different. And then we're going to look at the basic components. And then part 2, we'll actually go through all the different miniatures, Xenos, the survivors, and the cards. So as I said, Darkside is its own standalone game. So you're going to get, a bunch of new tiles, bunch of new different Xenos called drillers. All the other new fun stuff we, need to play the game. New cards, new tokens, all that extra stuff. So setup is basically the exact same. Everything is, same thing. You have your board. So we are going to get 6 of our player boards. We have all our different slots on there. So you'll have enough to play with all of those. We're also going to get brand new pegs and ring bases. And one thing I love about these is they're a different color. So now these are like darker or different shades of colors than the Invader set. And that's really fun because then now not only does it give someone 12 different options if they want a different color, it gives them that, is it potentially allows you to play up to 12 characters, survivors in a game if you want to make some big epic match. So I like the fact they get additional colors. Also, we'll get a set of 6-sided dice, which are just regular plain dice you can use for anything. And like I said, we'll go over all the different cards as we go through different bots. So another thing to point out is, so in the base game, or all the game, you have either yellow or red for survivors or soldiers, or civilians, Civilians or soldiers. Civilians can check any room, but usually have 2 armor or health, and the soldiers can only search security rooms, which are usually bright red on the map, but usually have higher armor for 3. They have a little bit more. These guys in this set, every single survivor from this set is called the Green Squad. They just start with 2 different basic weapons, the cattle prod and the pistol from the starting equipment. And then you have up to 2 search drones that you get to distribute among the number of characters you're playing. And this is because every single survivor in this set is a soldier. There are no civilians in this set. They sent out the special Green Squad team to just go in and do it. And they're all going to be noted with this extra little symbol on there so you can easily tell which characters are part of that team. So they get extra guns and weapons to start with, because the idea would be the original one would be, hey, these guys were on a space station doing stuff, and then the Xenos attacked. And that's the idea of kind of like most Zombicide games. So that's why everyone starts with less weapons, less equipment, or any of that stuff, because they're not prepared. These guys, on the other hand, are trained soldiers. So they're coming in with extra weapons ready to go. They get the search drones, because that way they can actually search multiple rooms. But it's only two of them, so not all your characters can do it. So finding more gear is going to be a little bit more difficult. But everyone automatically starts with more health. So if we just get a quick look at the characters, they're all going to have the red soldier, and they're all going to have that green squad symbol, so they're all going to have that extra armor, and we'll go over them in the second video. And then if I can find these search drones, which of course aren't right on top where I would like them to be, Here we go. So we got all the starting equipment. So they're going to have the gray backs. So we will start with 2 of the search drones, which go to the body slot, which lets you search any type of building in the zone. So this will let 2 of your survivors basically act like the civilian. They can do anything. And then you're also going to start with the cattle prod. So everyone gets to start with 1 cattle prod and 1 pistol. And then we'll look at this a little bit closer in part 2 video. So yeah, everyone will start with 2 equipment. So that means they can do ranged and melee right off the bat, which makes them a little bit more versatile. You can also, if you'd like to, use your extra free rearrange actions, and you could just give, because they all have dual wield, you could give some, spend some turns. You could, hey, I'm going to be a melee character, I'm going to be a ranged character, and give your guys dual wielding weapons. The phases and stuff, all like that, play the exact same. There will be some new bots in here we'll get a look at. So another new aspect of the game are dark zones. So this is just showing all your different line of sights for stuff. All the different guys showing like, hey, you can look down hallways, you can see only so far. But they have this dark zone area, which is going to be showing on the next page. But some of the map spaces will literally have no lights. Because we're going into like a building that has no power. That's one of the other big differences from Invader, is this is all taking place inside one base or space station or whatever you want to call it, versus the Invader had places you could go outside and you had to go between different buildings. You had to utilize the airlocks and the O2 cans. This gets rid of all of that in exchange for the dark mode. Now you can, of course, buy both of these, combine them, and you can have some rooms have dark, and some areas have ways to go outside. Alright, so we have dark zones. Survivors can't trace lines of sight into dark zones except at 0 range. However, they can trace lines of sight past dark zones to other zones. So it says, Xenos ignore this rule and can trace lines of sight. Normally, survivors performing range attacks with a prototype weapon or a machine action with a prototype keyword can also trace lines of sight normally. So prototype weapons can kind of track on, machines can track on, Xenos can see in the dark. Everyone else, works like normal. Everyone else is hindered by it. So that means they literally have to be in that spot to be able to take someone out. So you can't shoot into the dark because you can't see what's in there. So here we go. So it says Drake here can see the worker standing there because he's in the next room. And of course the worker can see him because he's right out. He can see into the dark. The same thing here. This abomination can see one room over. Hunter can see one room, so they can only see, as far as they need to see. It says the abomination, on the other hand, stands in a dark zone, no line of sight for Drake. Both Xenos and both Xenos ignore the dark road and see the survivor. So this guy can see out, this guy can see up, but he can't see far enough to shoot him, which he normally would be able to. It says dark zones have no effect at 0 range. See the abomination in his own zone. But the driller one zone away sees both the Xenos. So like he can see here. He can't see this direction though because he's in a separate room. It's kind of hard to tell on this map where there's different rooms at. And it says dark zones block line of sight to them but not past them. So what this is saying here is Miranda here can't see this worker here in the dark. But since there's light in this room, she can still see all the way across. And she can shoot someone in the next room. So that's basically how dark rooms work, is you can't see into the dark, so you can't shoot something that's in the dark because you can't tell what's there. But if you can see through it all the way to the other side, you can see something in that light on that side. So they just basically make ranged attacks a lot weaker. since you can't just shoot wherever. Then we have all our different equipment. That's all basic stuff. Inventory, experience levels, that's all basic stuff. We have some brand new Xenos, which we'll look at in part 2. But the big thing on these is these are drillers. So they're going to have the same subtypes. We're still going to have a worker, a tank, and a hunter, which follow the, for the most part, they're going to follow the exact same rules. Drillers have 1 damage, 1 health, and they provide 1 experience. Tanks have 2 damage, 2 health, and provide 1 experience. And the hunter has 1, 1, and 1, but it gets to take 2 actions. So essentially, for the base thing, they're the exact same as the regular Xenos in Invader, with the difference being the pit rule, which we'll go into here. But they're red, so they do differentiate as well. So now again, you can mix and match these when you're playing mixed campaigns. So instead of having the Spore Abomination, which planted spores around, we have the Driller Abomination. So like all Abominations, 3 damage, takes 3 health, and has 5 experience. A damage weapon 3, or a concentrated attack, or the Seismic Grenade. So you have a Seismic Grenade in this set versus the Flamethrower. So now he has a special rule for pits. He gets to, a Driller Abomination drills pits across the zones. May also be done with, when Driller Abomination stands in a zone without an open pit and gets an extra activation, he sets a pit token in the zone. So like the mold, the Spore Abomination was constantly adding spore every time it moved. He's only gonna drill if he gets an extra activation card. So he's not gonna do it all the time. If there is no pit there, he'll drill it. If it's filled in, like this, he'll drill into an open one. If there's already an open one he's standing on, he just acts as normal. Down here it's saying how you can mix pits and molds together if you'd like to. They just kind of go on top of each other. So the pits are special things. They have a couple different stuff. So a pit zone cannot be searched anymore. A pit zone cancels any special characteristics it previously had, such as O2. And a dark zone maintains characteristics along with being a pit zone, so you still can't, even if there's a pit, you can't do anything special in there. This is airlocks from Invader may be crossed to and from exterior zones, so it doesn't get rid of airlocks as well. So it also has some other specified rules. So throwing a seismic grenade into an open pit fills it. Driller Xenos standing in open pit are more resistant to ranged actions, performed from another zone. Additional damage is required to eliminate these entrenched monsters. So basically it's saying if a Xeno that's a Driller Xeno is hiding on one of these holes, they're dropping down into the pit, so you can't shoot at them as easy. So all the workers and hunters are eliminated with 2 damage instead of 1. The tanks go up to 3 damage, the Abomination goes up to 4. It says melee actions and ranged actions performed at 0 inside the pit are not affected by this rule. So yeah, if you get right next to them, you can still smack them normally. So again, besides the dark zone, having these pits also makes ranged attacks a lot harder to use. Now we do have some other things here. So it's saying here, like, this neutralizes the security zone, so the security zones don't work anymore. As long as this is open. This one's closed, so that goes back to normal, basically. But the zone loot says, no longer spawns Xenos, but it still can't be used. So as long as it's drilled in there, it doesn't have any of its abilities anyhow. So that's a great way for the Xenos to, like, shut down your resources. Up here it's just showing that even though there's a pit there, you can still see through it. And this is talking about the extra damage, and this is talking about the activation to drill another one. So players' phases stay the same. So it does mention here on search. Soldier survivors like Green Squad members can only search security rooms, and only if there are no Xenos in that zone. The search drone equipment cards allow soldiers to search any building that are precious to the Green Squad. Now, you only have 2 of these, so if you're playing a 6-player game, You only have 2 people that can do it, so you have to designate who wants it or to trade to whoever else might need it, who's going to be able to go around searching for new items. Door activations, all that stuff, attaching, deattaching, all that stuff is the same. Nothing here changed. It does have prototype weapon tokens, marking places where such advanced weapons can be found. They can be taken the same way as the objective. The survivor immediately earns a random prototype weapon from among these still available. They can reorganize their inventory for free. So in the Invader, the only way to get one of the prototype weapons was to complete an objective that gave you one. This one will actually just have more of them that might just be laying around. So you're going to find some better weapons a little bit quicker. Then of course we got our cool machines, which we'll look at a little bit later. Machine actions, all that stuff. Then we have swapping out. So it's otherwise stated by the mission, bot miniatures can be swapped out for one of another kind, as well as sentry guns. For the same reason, the game effect mentions bot or sentry gun without a specific name can apply to any indicated type. For example, the remote control bot still applies to any bot. So yeah, if you own Invader or one of the other expansions or any of the Kickstarter stuff and you have other bots or sentry guns, when you're playing, you can swap them out for the different ones if you'd like, just to give you some options, which is really cool. Move, attack, all that stuff stays the same. So I'm not going to go over too much into all of those. Combat, all stays the same. So another difference in here, not difference really, is the universal targeting priority. Basically saying regular Xenos and driller Xenos are the same for priority. So this is going to mention your first target has to be a driller tank and a driller abomination, then a driller worker, then a driller hunter. In Invader, it's just tank, abomination, worker, then hunter. So adding the extra word driller in front of it doesn't change their main species type, just their subspecies. So if you're mixing them together, they're still going to target the same things. Then we have our seismic grenade here. So this works like the flamethrower did in the Invader. Perform a ranged action with a seismic grenade equipped to hand, discard it, and blast. All actors, which are your survivors, Xenos, anything, and machines are eliminated. Survivors earn all related experience. Move any object, tokens, any open pits become flipped, and start a noise token in the zone. So this is a great way to just kill a lot of guys or kill an abomination in one hit. The difference being in like Invader, you had to find a canister and a flamethrower to be able to do it. You had to have both, and you still had to be at a range, I think a range of 1 or 2. This one you throw the grenade however far you want. So it's a lot more powerful because you only need one card and you can go a lot more distance with it. So that's basically all that goes through. And then we go through our missions. So our missions are going to show, of course, if they're doing which driller they're using starts on the board. If open pits start out, so some of the open pits start in certain areas. This is going to show, like, on here, for example, this is, like, the tutorial mission. It's going to show we have prototype weapons up here, as well as we have some objective tokens all over the different map where the different bots are, your starting zone, as well as doors and things like that. And then, of course, we'll get bigger maps and all that as we go through, and all our new skills. Alright, so last thing we want to go through in this, we want to just take a quick look at our tokens and maps and all of that stuff. So here are all of our new tokens. Of course, we're going to get our 4 prototype weapons. We're going to have our new sound. We are going to get new doors. So we're going to have our 5 regular neutral doors, which you can open and close, but we also get some more colored doors, which are really fun. I love that these are different colors, and they also correlate to your spawn tokens having different colors, and your regular objective tokens. We get 2 new colors there as well. You actually get 4, because you get purple and green, which match these 2 and those 2, but those have the bot symbols on them, or different symbols like that. And then we have just 2 regular objectives. And that's actually really cool, because then when you're mixing these with the other sets, you'll now have 6 different colored doors, so you can have some different objectives there. Then, of course, we flip these over. These are all just red, so you can shuffle them. These all stay red just in case you want more regular spawns and not colored ones. And then we have our broken open doors. So those are all our different ones there. Then we get a pile of pit tokens. And these are just, little cardboardy tokens. Big stack of them there. And then we have our boards. This will be the last thing we look at for this video. Yes, again, these are all interior, but they're all going to have lots of dark zones and security zones and all that stuff. Now, they're going to have like little red lights on here, still indicating very clearly you can see where your zones and your walls are. But you can also notice, this is very interesting, is all of the interior zones have doorways into each one and doorways out. So you can do that. But when you get to this hallway here, there are no doors on this entire outside hallway. So that's kind of interesting, because that means you're actually have to kind of go around this room there. So it's a neat idea. It kind of works very similar to like the exterior like planet from Invader, because it's just different. And then I also like to have little lights there so you can kind of see what's going on. So they did draw like full artwork, and then they just, put these spotlights on some of them. You can kind of see they're sort of like excavating or still working on those areas. Then we have, a game room, security room. We're going to get like our beds and some of the flags. Then on the reverse side, we have a split room. So like this one's going to let you go from this hallway out to here. But this one will stay dark. Yeah, so it's kind of neat. It's almost like they work very functionally, very functionally similar to the exterior from Invaders, because you have to find certain ways to get out to them. They're not just like extra corridors or hallways all the time, but they're kind of like the mining areas or places they haven't finished going through. Alright, so that's tile 1. We have tile 2 here. We have a lot more bright rooms in here. Of course, security room in the middle, another bed, another little game room. Looks like a mess hall up there at the top, or maybe a lab. We have like a medical bay down here in the bottom. And we have one dark room in the corner. And we flip them over, we have another split hallway here. So you can make nice big long hallways or have them go back to back. So, like, right, you can have these guys go like this and have one big long hallway, or you could have something like this where, hey, we have to try and cross through the dark to get to the other side. There's definitely some fun, interesting stuff that can happen there. Alright, third board, we got another L shape. Yes, this is definitely some, not as much detail I can show on the outside, and not a lot of very specific references on any of these tiles, like per, like, maybe like a specific genre or something. But yeah, we do get some neat ones here at the 2 tiles on the top. We have some more beds, different stuff like that. Tile number 3. And now, these are going to be numbered as 13, so they started with, the Invader had 1 through 9. These are going to have 9, or 10 through 18. So you're just going to continue in the numbering structure. So if you did pick this up before Invader and you're trying to figure out where's number 1 through 9, they're in the other set. Alright, so we got some more different ones there. So not a lot I can show off on these. This is a fun one here. One room surrounded by all dark. So this would definitely be like, hey, here's an objective, or maybe this is our starting zone, and you're going to have to go into the dark, which means even though you might physically, as a player, be able to see where all the Xenos are on the board, realizing that you can't range shoot any of them. Unless you have a spotlight or a prototype weapon, something that can target them. And I do like this, is they did this also kind of like a dark hallway in the middle. Like, that's, really fun there. They could have done some more of those, would have been even better. Alright, tile number 15. We got a cross. And then we have another T-shape. Not a T-shape, because there's another spot up here in the corner, I guess. Yeah, there's a cargo bay down there. Multicolored light-up computers. I like the light shooting out of there. That's really fun. Alright, tile 16. Bunch of extra spaces in there. I think there's a security room on every single tile, though, or just about, because you're really going to need them with this group of characters. But yeah, it's always a fun to mix and matches with other versions of the game. So you have another one like this, but this one's a security room. So again, this guy's like maybe a starting point, like, hey, we got here, and then all the lights went out. You can surround those by a lot of dark very easily. I haven't seen. I wish there was like one that was like double dark though, and then like one tile, like a lot more dark. That'd be kind of interesting. But they don't have anything that's more than one tile deep. I mean, outside of something like that. So like if I have this room, the most I'm ever going to have is you're going to have 2 spaces between another light room. They're not going to have any way to put 3 or more spaces in a row. And there's our last one. So we have a double door one that way. Alright, so that is what we have for Zombicide Dark Side. So go ahead, guys. Check out the link if you want to see more about how the regular game plays. Otherwise, come back for video 2 when we go through all the different cards and characters and all their fun abilities.